this series. We're not going to run it on a weekly basis on Wednesday. So we look forward to seeing you guys for all our series, which will be launching soon, all the way till June. So what is today's topic about? We are so pleased today to be sharing about providing liquidity for SME in the isolation economy. We want, not talking about loans and financing, we want to talk about alternative forms of raising capital so that you can actually extend your runway so that we can get through the circuit breaker together and hopefully resume life as soon as possible. Today, we are very pleased to be working with our two partners, Singapore Business Federation and Singapore Management University, the Office of Alumni Relations, to welcome our guests and friends joining us today as well. So before we get started, we also want to give a safe harbor statement. We try our best so that the information provided is as clear as possible, but please always seek your own independent legal and accounting advice before conducting any business or investment decision, all right? Every effort has been taken to ensure this information is correct, but please help us to let us know if there's any mistake, and always, once again, seek your own independent advice before making a decision, all right? So my name is Ivan. I'm a cooperative counselor with SGTech. So what is SGTech? SGTech is the premier trade association representing the Tech Federation of Singapore. We represent technology company or tech at heart company. We have more than 900 members, and although financing is a bit different from our usual topic, we are building this series so that the isolation economy talks more than just things that affect technology. We have a Toolbox webinar and of course a course available on our website. As well, what is happening later as well is a solution toolbox. So working with some of our partners, we have curated a list of different solutions that are easily available for a lot of you to implement and try out yourself. This solution includes cybersecurity, includes things like data protection. Now today, we are so pleased to have Mastercard, UOB, SGEBIS, and of course, EasyLink joining us to share with you their solution about providing liquidity for this session itself. So we have done about 10 webinars so far. You can check all the webinars on our website as well. After this thing is over, we'll be asking you guys to do an industry survey, but I'll remind again you guys later. So some administrative detail. These slides for this will be available for download on the SGTech website as well as the Isolation Economy website later. The recording will be put on YouTube and reviewing for it later as well. So we'll be recording this session, nothing you guys to worry about. Now, let's talk about Q&A. So today we are going to do one Q&A only. So we're going to do a Q&A after all our four presenters from Mastercard, UOB, SGEBIS, and as well EasyLink together first. So if you guys have a specific question for any of our partners, please help me put in, for example, UOB, semicolon, and the questions that you have so that I will be able to better direct the question later. If it's a general question, please feel free as well to then just put it in the Q&A section as well. So click on the Zoom Q&A and then feel free to use the Q&A function to ask us the question. Last but not least, before I pass my time over to my speakers today, everyone, I want to always share that please stay home to save life. All right, so stay home, save life. We are only 3 more weeks to this circuit breaker, 2 more weeks from next week onwards. So let us do our part to make sure that we have a safer environment to return back to work from. All right, so without further ado, I now have Daniel from Mastercard to be able to share with us about liquidity and how Mastercard is helping SME digitalize. So Daniel, please.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ivan, for the introduction.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, SGTech, for having Mastercard here today to present digitization for SME. So today we are going to talk about how digitization can help SME in this COVID situation. So without further ado, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, what is keeping SMEs in Singapore awake at night? I'm sure all of you have similar challenges, and especially now in the current situation, businesses are becoming, worse to manage. So we have actually gathered some of the statistics and information from several surveys from Singapore Business Federation and also Singapore Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to share the results with you. So from the right, there's a recent survey done by SCCI, and it revealed that 71% of the company actually face higher business costs. And I think that's apparent throughout everyone. And in terms of an annual business survey, the interest to venture overseas has actually decreased by 5% year-on-year between 2018 and 2019. And Singapore Business Federation has also concluded a survey in 2019 whereby 65% of the respondents stated that the interest rate is still considered very high and they need further support for this. Likewise, 60% of the respondents, they feel that hiring people with the right skills is a major challenge for them to further their business and increase their profits. Cash flow remains as a huge concern on their mind, whereby 70% of the SMEs believe that favorable financing conditions will actually positively impact their business. Of course, as we all know, due to the current lockdown and COVID situation, Singapore economy has declined by 10.6% quarter-on-quarter, comparing 2019 Q4 versus 2020 Q1. Now, SMEs believe that innovation is a key challenge because of the cost that's associated with the technology, and there's lack of skilled manpower and the development of digital capabilities. But digitization definitely is relevant, and let me demonstrate to you in the next slide. So we all know that due to the lockdown, consumers and corporates across the world are going online to shop. There are more food deliveries, there are more purchases done online. So there's no doubt that COVID-19 is propelling the growth of e-commerce, and SMEs should definitely digitize to actually capitalize on this growth. So like SARS, COVID-19 has reshaped the online shopping behaviors, and in most circumstances, this is going to be a permanent change. Now that they have a positive shopping experience online, it has got to their daily day-to-day operations or daily needs as well. So they will continue to have this shopping behavior even post the COVID-19 situation. Okay. So looking at the chart below, basically, if you look at the larger chart at the bottom, the growth of e-commerce in Southeast Asia in a report concluded by Google and Temasek is going to grow to 153 million in the year 2025. Okay, that's a sharp increase from our current 38 million in 2019. Likewise, if you just zoom in on this year, in the first 3 months, basically, we have seen from a research conducted by Emasis and Good Data, the influence of COVID-19 on the online transactions year on year. As you can see in the chart, small chart on the left, basically it has driven a huge increase and spike in the online transaction for Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand for comparison. So there's no doubt about the e-commerce growth over here in Southeast Asia and across the world. And as I mentioned, SME should definitely capitalize on this, and to do so, they need to digitize. Maybe let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so how does digitization help SME to overcome challenges due to COVID-19? Okay, so now we actually have a actual live case whereby a F&B SME has gone through some impacts of COVID-19 due to the lockdown, and how the digitization actually helped this F&B SME to actually turn around. So let's look at in terms of the procurement, finance, and sales processes, what was the impact? Before the COVID situation, in the day-to-day operations, actually the F&B SME had to send purchase order via their ERP platform, and the platform is actually confined to HQ office use. This means that they actually cannot access the ERP platform from home. So it's on their intranet, and they can only access the system when they log into the office. So they are also dependent on suppliers to send goods to them on time. Otherwise, they will be unable to carry out their daily operations accordingly. So from a finance perspective, they still go through manual reconciliation with paper invoices, and they are actually paying multiple suppliers via different payment methods. They have to capture the data from the paper invoice into their system manually as well. From a sales perspective, they actually have to constantly run in-house promotion in this competitive environment to attract new customers. They have to update their menu prices regularly due to the seasonal pricing of the seafood and the other ingredients. At the same time, they also thought of managing a rewards program to create more loyalty with their customers. These are the main day-to-day operations that they look at. So due to the lockdown, the impact on procurement is because everyone is working from home. They are actually unable to send purchase order via the ERP platform. So they can't access the system from home. That's why they are unable to do so. And as a result, the suppliers are not able to deliver the goods, the stocks to them on time. So this impacts their delivery of the food to their customer. From a finance perspective, the payments to suppliers are delayed, and they actually need longer credit terms to tie them over this period. Revenue has decreased by 50 to 90%, and they need better cash flow because they can no longer operate the restaurant on site, and no customer can dine in. That's why the revenue has decreased sharply, and they need better cash flow in order to help them to tie over this period as well. From a sales perspective, they would like to venture online, set up a online store in order to mitigate the revenue loss, and they would like to actually engage or continue their engagements with customers in order to boost client retention. So through digitization, they were able to digitize the procurement process with e-orders and e-invoices. They actually link up with an e-procurement platform in order to have more effective sourcing. This allowed them to have better pricing and allow them to achieve cost savings for their purchases as well. From a finance perspective, they were able to consolidate their business expenses on a business card, and that actually helped to improve their cash flow and credit terms. They were able to automate reconciliation through the e-invoicing, and also save time and efforts to process the invoice and to make payments to their suppliers. From a sales perspective, they managed to set up the e-commerce shop within a short time, and that helped them to generate the new revenue to mitigate the revenue loss from the lockdown. At the same time, through data and insights, they were actually able to customize campaigns to attract more customers, new customers, and to increase their revenue. And overall, they were able to offer a better customer experience to all their customers. Okay, maybe let's move on to the next slide. Okay, what are the benefits of digitization for SMEs? So digitization can help to improve cash flow for the SME businesses and reduce the cost of funding businesses. That is a huge aspect and concern for SMEs in today's world. At the same time, from a payment perspective, they are able to help the SME to better manage their payments and have visibility on their expenses, and they can streamline their payment processes to all their suppliers. For sales, they can actually increase revenue, as we have seen, and it can expand their outreach to more customers, and they can acquire customers faster and quicker. They have insights to real-time data, and they can conduct their analysis and identify where are the pockets of clients that are more relevant to them, and cross-sell more relevant product and solution to acquire those customers. From a business processes perspective, they are able to boost the efficiency of their business processes. They should be able to access multiple systems from a single platform, whereby reducing their time and effort needed to manage systems and platforms. And this allows them to focus more time on sales and also their customers, ultimately to increase their revenues. Okay, and in terms of savings, because of the data visibility that they are able to achieve, they can strengthen the negotiation with suppliers and obtain cost savings from there. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So we can actually help SMEs to accelerate digitization. And there will be a lot of questions on everybody's mind, probably, like in terms of cash flow. So how can I improve my cash flow? How can I manage my expenses more effectively? In terms of sales, how can I increase my sales revenue through digitization? And business processes, how do I boost the efficiency of my business processes? How do I streamline my payment processes? And how can I strengthen my negotiation with suppliers? All those that we have spoke of. So Mastercard and our partners, we can actually help to accelerate digitization for SMEs, and we are going to share with you how. So let's move on to the next slide. So coming to the first question, how can I improve my cash flow and enjoy interest-free credit terms? Let's take a look at the illustration below. It demonstrates two payment flow, whereby you can see two sets of credit terms. The first set at the top is for payment without cards, and it offers up to 30 days of credit terms. How it works is taking, for example, day one as the date that the invoice is issued by your supplier. So typically you have up to 30 days to make payment. So within these 30 days, your finance will have to reconcile and make sure, according to the delivery order, the goods are delivered on time, and have to go through the accounting system and trigger off the payment or when the due date is due, to pay off the invoice via the preferred payment method to your supplier. In the scenario below, payment with cards, for example, with a business card, the supplier will actually charge to the card on day one after you confirm your order. All right, but you don't go out of pocket on day one. So 30 days later, when your card statement is issued by the bank, that's where you actually receive the statement and you submit the statement together with the supplier invoice to your finance to process for payment. Again, finance will make use of the remaining 30 days to actually reconcile and process payment. And typically on day 28, right, they will actually trigger the payment to the bank, so that the bank will actually receive the payment on time. Okay, so this illustrates that payment with cards actually offer extended credit terms to SMEs, and these are interest-free credit terms. As long as you pay on time, there will be no additional fee that's required on your purchases. Okay, actually I've come to the end of my slide. Maybe I'll pass back to Ivan.
Thank you so much. I think, Daniel, we will now pass it over to Linda from UOB, but do you mind helping Linda control the slide?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, Linda. Now we have Linda from UOB to give us some solutions to have. So we have our three. So Mastercard has, of course, presented presented to you guys overview of the space. But now we're going to have our three partners, which is once again UOB, SGEBiz, and EasyLink, to present you actual solution that you guys will be able to adopt, so that you guys will be able to extend your liquidity or find new form of liquidity. So Linda, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ivan, for the great introduction, and Daniel from Mastercard for sharing with us all the insights. especially when we are all facing challenging times. And I do hear from the poll, almost 90% of the polls obtained are all facing some form of impact on their cash flows. So once again, hi everyone, I'm Linda from UOB Commercial Cards. Today, I would like to spend just a couple of minutes sharing with you UOB's journey with actually our customers, how they were able to be flexible while utilizing our solutions. So with this, I would like to cover them over the main 3 points that you see on the screen here today. So while we often do hear SME owners ask us this question, so what happens when I do not make full payment on the due date? Well, we heard them, their concerns over being worried about being charged a high interest. We decided to launch our Business Plus card, which you can see here under the first point. A little bit about this card. The card has an interest of only 13.8% per annum, and this works out to be 1.15% per month, whereas a typical credit card would charge you up to about 27% per annum. So this allows you to stretch out your cash flow, especially when you are facing with perhaps delays from payments from your customers, or when something unexpected pops up and you do need the additional cash, right? And you have expenses to be made. So you can actually do this without worrying too much about the high interest rate on this card. Another talking point that we have with our customers was all about boosting cash flows by gaining cash to meet their business needs. Actually, this is mostly when it is urgent or especially when they have available credit limits on their credit cards. So if you can refer to the second point, we have here UOB Business Payment, which gives you the option to do just that. We can actually choose to repay in the next month, or if it works better for you, just pay over installments, break it up over a 3 or 6 months period, and the administration fee is as low as 1%. So if you can come down to the third solution, this initiative has been worked on for the past few years along with our platform partners. Very much aligned with the nation's digital initiatives as it aims to help your business centralize and digitize workflows, which you heard from Daniel earlier. That of course includes payments to your suppliers. Now how this works is with a simpler work process, your supplier can actually be paid earlier. At the same time, you still get to enjoy your extended payment terms of up to 60 days. And with this, often enough, for businesses like yourself, you are able to open up the conversation with your supplier and start negotiating early payment discount. So these are a few thoughts of how you could actually help your cash flows. These 3 options just form part of our product suite. For how we work, we always want to hear from you first, all about your business, your requirements, and your pain points before proposing any solutions that suits you. So if you can just go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, should you be interested to know more, the details on application process and basic requirements are listed here. Your company needs to be locally incorporated, and cardholders need to meet the minimum income requirement of 30,000 per annum. Well, there's a list of mandatory documents here. What typically happens is when we actually have a chat with you over a call, and if we do require more documentations, we will let you know. And once these documents are actually in place, it takes about up to 6 weeks for us to get you that approval. So other than just these 3 options, there are actually other options for you to choose from as well. And if you'd like to read more about the products, okay, please visit our website that's listed on the first link that you will see below at uob.com.sg/commercial solutions, or simply just drop us an email at commercialcardsenquiry@uob.com, and one of us will be in touch with you very shortly. These links, I believe, will be hosted, so you can always refer to them later. So I just come to an end. First and foremost, I also like to wish each and every one of you great health and stay safe. So on this note, I'd like to pass over to Soman of SGEBiz.
Hey, thank you, Linda, and a very good afternoon to everybody on this call. And I echo Linda's health wishes. Hope everybody is safe and remains safe throughout this trying period. So I am the regional payment heads for Singapore e-Business Private Limited. And if you remember Linda's slide, one of the points mentioned that working with platforms which can offer you a facility to host your card and avail of the interest-free credit period, as well as negotiate with between buyers and suppliers for an early payment discount. That is just a precursor of what our platform can do. But before going there, let me quickly walk you through some of the key concerns which we feel SMEs face in today's environment, apart from obviously credit and liquidity requirement which the current situation has driven. We also address issues which SMEs face, such as doing a lot of manual work, putting people and therefore incurring labor cost in getting those manual work done, getting reconciliation done between what they do at the counters versus what the platforms do, and how to help with data and cash flow. So this is the challenges which we try to address through our platform, which is called Easy Procure, which we will talk on the next slide. Thank you. So what do we do? So our platform is a modular cloud-based platform which can provide seamless procure-to-pay solutions for small and medium enterprises. The Easy Procure platform helps SMEs to have a digitized roadmap for an end-to-end procurement play, right from the purchase requisition generation to the invoice generation, electronic invoice generation, and also facilitating a three-way match between the electronic invoice, physical invoice, which the buyer will capture and upload on my platform, as well as the good received note, and be in a position to provide data which will be reconciled. It will also facilitate easy payment, which essentially enables a buyer to pay for what they have purchased from the supplier on the credit card. And as Linda was elucidating, use the benefit on the credit card, be the 60-day credit period, be the availability of credit limit, to add liquidity to your platform, reducing your days outstanding for the buyer and reducing days payable from the buyer, and reducing the days outstanding from the supplier side. An easy source which will help you source out different ecosystem suppliers and buyers so that you can come and negotiate a price with them. What is more relevant, I guess, from today's discussion is what we can do on the easy payments. It is a modular system. It is, in effect, there is no charges to onboard on the easy payment platform. You simply get registered on the platform, you lodge a card, you either upload invoices or bring it from the Easy Procure platform and make the payment, and the data can get fed directly back to your respective either accounting or ERP platform for an easy reconciliation. So that's the journey we're talking about. But while planning this journey as a BAU, we have worked with our esteemed partners, Mastercard as well as UOB, to work out different schemes which will benefit you SME customers on the cards rail. So that is something which I'll show on the next slide. The rail is essentially, the benefit is essentially providing an exclusive low transaction fee of 0.9%. And this is compared to your normal merchant discount rate of 2.5, depending on 2 to 2.6 percentage points. You also get the benefit of using my procurement platform free for the first 3 months. Easy Procure is a pre-approved solution eligible for a PSG grant up to 70% by IMDA, and you can use basically you can use Mastercard to pay on it, and the bank which gives you the benefit of the up to 60 days interest-free liquidity, you can use that on that same platform. The supplier will get paid within a span of 3 to 5 days. And for another scheme which we have launched is the scheme for a low transaction fee to pay for lease rentals. And this will also come with a free Easy Procure use for the first 3 months, along with a 70% funded grant by PSD grant by IMDA. And again, you will work with a Mastercard on that on our platform. So these are the schemes which have resonated very well in the SME community. And through this medium today, we want to reach out to all of you to ask. And again, as your survey did say, there is a significant amount of liquidity squeeze happening within the SME world. And between us, Mastercard and UOB, and of course through SGTech and others on this call, we're here to help address those needs of yours. I am cognizant that this has been a brief introduction to SGB as a platform and the procurement and the payment solutions. But if you want more information, you can please feel free to reach out to me. I have my email ID also attached in a subsequent slide. Or please feel free to browse through our website as well as write to us, and we will be getting in touch with you immediately. Thank you, and I would pass on now to Kelvin from EasyLink to walk you through his slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Soman. Right. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Kelvin. Right. I'm with EasyLink as the head of business development, coming to about 10 years. So I essentially I'm responsible for the overall transactional service in key verticals for EasyLink CPass. Right. As you associate it with the EasyLink card to be able to use it in transit, retail, motoring, in view of making ERP payments or car park. Yeah. So additionally, I also do oversee the EasyLink Loyalty Rewards platform, where commuters are being rewarded with points upon the usages of the EasyLink card. Now, last but not least, I'm also managing the portfolio for a prepaid Mastercard, in which the partnership with Mastercard for several years. This covers the consumers and also corporate verticals. So very happy to partake in this SGTech collaborative partnership with Mastercard, with all of you present today. Yep. Okay. So before I go into the slides, right, I just wanted to share a little bit of insights about digitalization and digital transformation. So I think this is one of the key business trends that's happening in the recent years, and digitalization is like the current buzzword. But really, what is the question? Yeah, how exactly can this transformation, this digital transformation, improve your business? If you're running a business anywhere in the world, and in the recent years, you will probably heard about this digital transformation. But perhaps you, as business owners, key management personnel, right, business analysts, or anyone, you may already have, not knowing, begin very little steps going into digitize some of your business aspects. And that is a very good start to embrace digital transformation. So ultimately, digital transformation is really about empowering the people in your organization to work smarter, enabling your business to exploit previously inaccessible opportunities on leveraging with technology. Yeah, and perhaps in this slide, let's look how we can do a bit of digital transformation that can benefit your organization. So in this slide, there are a few use cases and one of the enhancements coming up in this year. So essentially, what I wanted to share is there are some various options and card programs for SMEs that can actually reduce manual reimbursement of processes and also control over your business expense. Yeah. So one of the use case for the first product that I'd like to share with you, right, is a curated corporate gift card. So essentially, this is a gift card that offers incentivized value customers for employees, right? A gift card that you can use to replace with the current physical vouchers that can be procured. So essentially, this card, once you give it to your customers or your staff, you'll be able to use it in any of the global touch points in Mastercard. And you can also do your own customization of the card itself too. So this is one of the use cases that we have worked very closely with a lot of partners from various SMEs in different segments and different verticals. Yeah. Okay, and I'd like to go on to the next product, which is the corporate disbursement card. So essentially, this is for corporate entities, and this is one of the key benefits as to how you can maximize your business funds effectively. You can manage administratively efficiency and payment processes. It's a very simplifying your operational workflow. So from a corporate entity platform, one of the use cases that I will share is one of the government agencies that has leveraged with us on this corporate disbursement platform, where individual corporate prepaid cards are being given out to their personnel or their volunteers. When they do a certain work, or perhaps do a certain projects, yeah, the corporate disbursement or the incentive can be dispersed to these cards, right, instantaneously, right? And this actually limits a lot of paperwork, administrative, right, and it will increase the productivity. Okay. Moving forward, in this year, in 2020, we actually have a little baby that is coming on board soon. It's actually the corporate business expense management solution, right? This is once again very targeted to help SME, right, to improve, right, streamline workflows and manage your fund disbursement. So it's a real-time expense tracking and control limits for spending. So essentially, this means that you can issue this prepaid card, yeah, to your staff, right, for the purpose of making payments in travel and entertainment, in procurement of business expense, in recurring of online payments. Yeah, so these are some of the key benefits that we'll be introducing very shortly to all the SMEs, right, in an effort to drive cashless payments. Okay, so if you're really interested to understand a little bit more of the corporate gift cards, the corporate disbursement program, and also the corporate expense management, so do look at the bottom of the slide, right? We can be contacted and we will share further information on these three different business solutions to help you as SME to go on this digital transformation. Thank you, and I will hand it back to Ivan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much, Roman. We have a few questions, so I'm going to let Daniel leave up the current slide so that you guys can message them if you need any support or anything, so you guys can see the information. So let's take some questions from the audience. Audience member, you know, I think you guys have a lot of questions for them. Kindly use the Q&A functions instead of the chat group to address them. Okay, I think this is for UOB first, Linda. The administration fee of 1% for payment facility, is it per annum or is it per month?
Okay, it's just the upfront 1% charge on the total amount in terms of dollar value of the drawdown of credit limits. So for example, if you decide to draw down 5,000, it is 1% of that 5,000.
Okay, and okay, I hope that answers Steve's question. Thank you so much. Maybe a question for someone from SGE Biz. You know, if your vendors have payment terms of 60 to 90 days, what can you do with your platform to address that?
Hey, thanks, Ivan, for that. Look, the platform facilitates the payment via the card. So let us assume that you already have a 60-day or 90-day term with your supplier to make your payment. If your credit card issuer has given you another 60-day facility, you can effectively add that 60 days to this 60 plus 90 day, and in effect enjoy a 150-day or between whatever 120 to 150-day credit facility. So that is the advantage of using your credit card and using the credit card limits which you have, and be in a position to pay back to the credit card company after the interest-free credit period goes down. So in effect, if you would have Mastercard showed you the list, showed you a slide earlier, in case your current credit term is only 60 days and after 60th day you had to pay back to the supplier, now you can have 60 plus the credit card interest-free credit period, which can add up to another 60 days.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I think it answers Simone's question. Question to you, Obi. Do you mind answering to us what is the effective annual to Linda. What is the effective interest rate per annual?
Okay, so maybe if this is going back to the earlier question, there might be a bit of confusion of this 1%. I believe the administration fee was pertaining to the the biz payment facility, which is 1% of the dollar value that you draw down. The effective interest rate, if I'm looking at some of the questions that is being posed, maybe actually before the Biz Plus card, if I'm not wrong. That one it works out to 13.8% per annum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So 13.8%. Yeah. Per annum. Understandable. So everyone, top line rates and effective interest rate, we always use two to compare between them.
Because the earlier one is actually installment plan, right?
Exactly, and because it recurs on a monthly basis. Welcome to the world of finance, and where every fine print is very important to read through.
Yes.
We'll move on to some operation questions. Michael suggested that while the effective is quite a number, but of course, not to promote anybody product, but honestly speaking, my parents run a family business, and I've been talking about financing the last few weeks. Honestly, the credit card, the terms that UOB offer at 1%, but effective at about 13 to 14, is within the range of unsecured credit facility. In fact, it's still better than your own credit card facility. So pretty competitive in terms of the general stuff. Okay, I do have a few questions, maybe now for Kevin and perhaps even Daniel from Mastercard. Any solution out there so that you can collect payment from customers overseas? So let's say a customer, you build customers in the overseas market. Any solution that you guys have offered so that you can collect payments from them?
I guess the customer in this case, right, they have to be accepting the payments. If they are accepting card payments from overseas, the clients overseas can actually use card to make payments directly to them, and they can receive the payments. So we need to look at the scenario closer to identify, but we do have a lot of payment and solutions working with partners to enable such overseas payment or collection of payments.
I think there are a lot of different merchants, credit card payment merchant out there for you guys to, for companies, SMEs to look at to help acquire customers that Mastercard work with. Yeah. Thank you. And a question now to Kevin. The EasyLink gift card, can they print corporate images on the card?
Yes, we can. Gift cards, yes.
Yeah, minimum order quantity.
Actually, there is we don't work actually with any minimum quantity, right? But also depends on depending on the nature of the business, for the purpose. So sometimes it can be for use of D&D, right? Instead of giving vouchers, it can be replaced with a gift cards, right? So actually there's no minimum quantity, and if need be, we can actually work with you, right, to ensure that you have your corporate image there also for corporate branding purposes. With the corporate gift cards, once again, it enables the usages of the card spent, whether is it locally, in domestic in Singapore, or also in the global presence of Mastercard.
Got it. Thank you so much, Kevin. Maybe at this point in time, Kevin, you want to share a bit more about the EasyLink rewards? I think a lot of chat feedbacks like, what is the EasyLink rewards about? Even I'm an EasyLink user, right? Since I get a card.
Thank you very much.
So, what is the EasyLink rewards?
Okay, so just to kick off this, it's a little bit, we'll redirect it instead of prepaid now to the EasyLink rewards platform that we have. Some time back ago, 2 years back, we have started our own, even EasyLink, we ourselves also started to do our own digital transformation. The key purpose is when a consumer uses the EasyLink CPass card for payments within the rail or transit buses, or making ERP payments using the EasyLink card. Then we found that it was necessary to have to have connectivity with them. So that's why
Okay.
we embark on developing the EasyLink mobile app, which overlays it with the EasyLink rewards platform to engage with customers. So every transaction you use within the transit, the retail, and also for the motoring, you get actually rewards points. So that's one
Got it.
for the value add for consumers. Now I'm going to switch over the focus to merchants, SMEs, business owners, like everyone here, right? You can leverage on this platform with EasyLink, right? With actually at no cost. So essentially, it is a win-win situation for both SMEs, right? And also for consumers. Why? Because we are transferring over 3.3 million active users, right, for EasyLink cards, which are the adults. And also not forgetting about our concession base, right? From the cradle to silver. Yeah, that's about another 1.6 million. So what we do, we work with merchants to come on board this platform, and they provide example like digital vouchers, discount off. Through this platform, what we are doing is transferring our customers, right, to you at your SMEs locations. And I find that this is a win-win situation for all.
Okay, so just a quick question before I pass it to Soman. A lot of questions for SGEBiz. For Kevin, if we have currently an e-commerce website, for example, I sell water bottles on e-commerce on the website, are we able to issue EasyLink rewards point that way?
Essentially, it is in the discussion. So I'm not sure whether you know, we have also part of the SGQR, where Singapore is adopting a unique SGQR where EasyLink has an EasyLink digital wallet that you'll be able to use to make for payments for micropayments. We'll soon be embarking on a journey for online, right, on the e-commerce space, where individual users of EasyLink digital wallet would be able to make e-com purchases via online. Yes, in fact, that is a plan. You will also enjoy the rewards points also.
Got it. So it's possible, and if they want, they can send an email to EasyLink to talk about this, I'm sure.
Yes, we are there to assist SMEs to go on many different products and solutions that EasyLink would like to share.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kevin. Back to Soman as well. A lot of confusion about how the SGEBiz system works. So maybe some clarity here. First thing first, two parts question. Do my supplier have to be on the SGEBiz platform, or can they be a neutral? Like if they never do it, I receive a normal invoice from them, I can just pay them straight away.
Yeah. So on our platform, both models are possible. So what we like to encourage is have both the buyers and suppliers on our platform. But if the buyer effectively wants to pay a supplier and the supplier does not want to be on the platform, that also can be done. But there will be obviously limited interaction between the buyer. It will only be an invoice payment requirement. So there will be limited interaction between the buyer and the supplier.
Okay.
And you generally do not get the benefit of the whole platform. But the answer is yes, it can work at a buyer level only for the payment side, but they will have to provide the supplier details, because the supplier details are needed to make the payment to the supplier. So the supplier name, suppliers, UEN, suppliers, account numbers, bank details are needed so that the payment can be made to the supplier. So the supplier need not necessarily be an account with SGEBiz.
All right, perfect. Great, thank you so much. And then the next question for the SGEBiz side is, so I think you answered this in the chat group, but just to clarify, right, since we have Mastercard here,
Sure.
if, is there a reason why you are using Mastercard, say, versus the other payment networks?
Yeah, so obviously because Mastercard and us have worked very closely together, we have worked with Mastercard to provide a beneficial scheme at a significantly lower rate. So therefore, it is something which is a special offer for a Mastercard. The other network have not. So obviously,
I think it's a better rate.
Yeah, but the Visa card can still be used, so that it does not restrict from using any other Visa network as a card. It will come at the commercial rates, which is currently prevalent for Visa.
Got it. Thank you so much, Solomon. Back to Linda, a few questions for UOB. First thing first, since the corporate credit card, is there a reason why you need to declare individual annual income still?
Right,
I think a lot of micro SMEs they draw director fees, so their income is not stable.
right.
Like it changes year on year.
Actually, it's a very valid and good question. Really, because the commercial card has a joint liability for both the company and also the individual, which is the card holder. So, of course, stipulated in the policies, right, as you know from MES, is the requirement of that minimum 30,000 income is actually stated. So, it's actually abiding by that.
Okay, so that's the reason number one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, yes, make a comment that the product rates are actually very good. This one, effective interest rate of 13%. Is this a COVID situation thing, or is it this current rate will continue in definite future?
Okay, so I'll just go back a little about the effective interest of 13%. What I was referring to earlier was the Biz Plus card interest per annum is at 13.8%. This is actually our existing product. It's not during the COVID situation. So you can actually apply anytime. So it will not expire. So happy to be able to take in any more interest on that. Yeah. So
Got
the
it.
effect,
Okay. Understandable. Okay, perfect. And then I think last few questions for Kevin, and we see whether guys, we still have a bit of time. We always invite you guys to ask more questions. So we can talk about this. Now, the next one we want to have for Kevin, a lot of things about EasyLink. Can the EasyLink gift card be top up, or is it a one time and then you throw away the card once it's used? Like, in America, the prepaid credit card can be top up.
Okay, for the purpose of the, are you referring to the EasyLink CPass card or the corporate gift cards? So for the EasyLink cards, so for the EasyLink CPass cards, right, top up can be used at any of the general ticketing machines, which is located at all transit stations. That's the one. Or you can go to any convenience stores to do your perform your top ups. Or if you like the digital way, EasyLink has a mobile app that you can download, and you can do your ad hoc or your normal top ups. Now, but this is only applicable for Android handsets, as unfortunately the iOS version, the readers are not open, so the top up via the Android is possible. Just coming back to the corporate gift cards, right? Essentially, you can actually customize the gift cards accordingly to some of your corporate images or the theme of your function. That is possible too. There's no minimum quantity. We are happy to work with you on this. For the card cost, it will average around $8 to about $12 to $15. Once again, it also depends on the minimum quantity also. Yeah. So we are open to that.
Got it. Thank you so much. Anyway, for the rest of our audience member, please ask your last few questions. I think we'll wrap up in about 5 minutes. Thank you so much to Kevin. Now, last thing about maybe one more question for EasyLink is there, or maybe even for UOB and for Solomon, is there any industry, so we can go, this will be the last question, we can go in a circle. Is there any industry that say your cards cannot work for, especially like for suppliers at Solomon's side and for Kevin, are there, the reward side, is there any industry restriction? Some of us are SMEs here from spa industry, for example. Do you have restriction on it? Kevin, maybe you start first, sorry.
Okay. Actually, for EasyLink payments, right, it stretches very vast across many key segments. One example would be in the transportation business, where you have payments at taxis. You also find payments in individual kiosks, such as vending machines. And where you find payments for EasyLink in example like food kiosks, F&B outlets, right, across many different industries. Once again, EasyLink payments are really more or less associated with micropayments. So maybe it doesn't really make sense that for any purchases crossing over a few $100s, as the maximum wallet limit for EasyLink CPass card is capped at $500.
Okay. So maximum top up is 500 anymore.
For the easy part. Yes.
Ivan Showman here, just to add to that. On the platform, there is no restriction by industry. It has to satisfy a few preconditions. One, it has to be a B2B payment. It has you need to have invoices to pay, because invoices need to be uploaded, and you need to have a credit card or card to make the payment, and you need to have the details of the supplier available to make the payment. There is no charges for signing on to my platform. So the signing on is free. The only charges you will bear, you or the supplier will bear, will be the charge on the card at 0.9% on the COVID package for Mastercard denominated cards.
Understandable. Thank you so much to that. And for Linda, any industry restriction on that?
Right. So from a bank's point of view, largely we don't have many restrictions. Definitely there will be some restricted ones. Of course, you tell me that you are manufacturing firearms and things like that. Okay, I'll definitely be very concerned and things like that. So
understand.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the business is legitimate and everything else, yeah. But of course, there is certain ones that you and I do know that the bank won't really dwell in. Then of course that portion, but we'll tell the client upfront.
All right. Thank you so much.
So Ivan, just to also echo one point on the business payment solution. Yeah. This expense solution, you can from a user perspective or a merchant perspective, you as a business owner, you can actually control for particular stuff that say you can't use it at certain areas or industry. You can control it by some settings within the solution platform that we provide to you by clicking on things such as MCC or merchant category code. Then you can actually block the transactions from then on. So once again, the platform will work with for SGTech, right? From now, right, is really have a special package for all, right? Interested, we can definitely connect with us, and then we will walk you through by giving you more information.
All right, got it. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much today to our friends from Mastercard, UOB, SGBiz, and EasyLink as well for sharing. I hope all the audience members find this session useful. Just to wrap it up, these slides will be available on the Isolation Economy website, isolation.sg, as well as the SGTech website in a short while. I'll put it up in a short while. Now, the next week, we're going to have something very interesting. We're going to talk about the legal consideration to adopt e-signature for the isolation economy. I recommend for those of you SME who are thinking about, in the COVID era, we cannot keep couriering documents up and down. If e-signature is something that you can adopt, and whether is it good enough to be used effectively. That is on next Wednesday, on 20th May from 12:30 to 2 p.m. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed. Please also remember to help us do the survey questions here as well after this session is over. Now, a personal pitch, if you guys are very bored and have nothing to do, I'm launching a cooking channel for some weird reason. I've been asked to launch a baking channel. So if you guys are interested in following and want to follow along on a live baking channel, you can go to bakingwithivan.com and sign up for the next 3 Sundays as we count down to the end of circuit breaker together. Okay, personal pitch here. All right, without further ado, thank you so much once again. Kevin, Linda, Sowen, Daniel, any last words to share with our audience member?
Good, stay safe.
All good?
Thank you.
Stay safe, yes, stay healthy.
Stay safe, everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Take
us.
care. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, SGN.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.